Data governance and accountability are really intertwined with the role and responsibility of a data protection officer. So from my vantage point, it really drives many of the foundational aspects of a digital compliance program. And for a DPO, data governance is translating legal obligations into practical data handling workflows that are then supported by tooling and clear ownership. AI is impacting data governance in many ways. So for starters, AI governance requires its own compliance program, much of which is taking inspiration from existing compliance programs, whether that's things like governance bodies or integrating into risk and control frameworks. Secondly, there are synergies between AI-related risk assessments and data protection impact assessments, which I think over time we will see, strengthening, harmonizing those governance approaches. And then finally, legal and compliance teams, we are turning to AI to see how we can explore using it in our own work and how it can make our roles even more effective. There is a lot of evolution in the digital regulatory landscape, and on first glance, each one is tackling a different aspect. And then on closer inspection, it's clear that there are some common threads that tie them together. So, for example, at a thematic level, we're all aware that transparency is a foundational aspect that cuts across the board, across many regulations. And then at the infrastructure layer, there are also different synergies. For example, the drive towards auditability. And then separately, I think there's been a collective realization that the structures we put in place almost close to 10 years ago now, during the GDPR readiness era, that they simply are no longer fit for purpose when it comes to the current much wider digital regulation landscape. And so there's a drive towards greater harmonization across different integrated structures and more integrated tooling as well. International dialogue and cooperation is vital. We're all on a learning curve. There are so many technological advancements, the digital regulation landscape is evolving, and so that international cooperation and dialogue makes all the difference as we navigate this ever-evolving space. So in my view, all of those of us involved in this ecosystem, including companies and regulators, can take any opportunity that presents itself to foster that dialogue. And we see this play out in things like, the interplay guidelines and consultations between the GDPR and the DSA, DMA and AI Act. We also see it in initiatives or forum and resolutions in the Global Privacy Assembly. And then of course we see it this week in Venice at the Privacy Symposium, where one of the really true value adds that this conference does is foster that dialogue and cooperation. The Privacy Symposium has become a must-have conference on the annual calendar. It has such an ambitious and advanced program, really truly diverse mix of governments, law firms, academia, industry, regulatory bodies, and there's only one problem with the symposium. As a speaker, you are competing for the audience's attention with the Venetian art and architecture, so that makes it quite difficult. Really great to see that the EU is embracing and looking at this whole range of mechanisms that are available under the GDPR, and certifications and codes being one of them. And so the codes and certifications were long thought of as mechanisms for trust building when it comes to data transfers, and cross-national recognition had been an issue and where it fell down. But now that this has been approved at the EDPB level, that's really fantastic, and it drives greater certainty and third-party oversight, which is something that codes and certifications provide for. This is something that we really believe in, and for instance at TikTok's Project Clover investment, which involves an independent third-party European security provider overseeing independently the European user data. That's something that we're very proud of, and that we see kind of going in line with this evolution. There are other measures that could be explored. So for instance, independent oversight by third parties, recognizing the role that plays as a risk mitigation measure, and separately privacy enhancing technologies, and also recognizing that as a risk mitigation measure when it comes to international data transfers could be further explored. So for TikTok, that independent oversight is provided for in the measures that TikTok has put in place to secure user data in Europe. And it goes much further, much beyond periodic audits. So it involves continuous monitoring of the measures in place, and it also involves testing the effectiveness of the privacy enhancing technologies. And we believe that introducing that as a supplementary measure for countries that where data is being transferred beyond adequate countries could be something to consider. And then when it comes to privacy enhancing technologies, currently in the digital omnibus, there's a lot of discussion about the definition of pseudonymization, which is welcome. But it also, lots of what gets you to the pseudonymization is privacy enhancing technologies. So we would support further inclusion of that in the discussion and to see how that would evolve.